Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're exploring a topic that's very close to my heart. Why gardening is one of the most rewarding activities you can embrace after turning 60. I've been tending to my own garden for the past decade since retiring, and the joy, health benefits, and sense of purpose it has brought into my life have been truly transformative. Whether you're a lifelong gardener or someone who's never planted a seed before, there's something magical about connecting with nature in your golden years. In this video, I'll share the many physical and mental health benefits of gardening for seniors, practical tips for gardening safely as we age, inspiring stories from senior gardeners around the world, and ideas for creating a garden that will bring you joy for years to come. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's explore how nurturing plants can help you nurture yourself after 60. When most people think about exercise for seniors, activities like walking, swimming, or gentle yoga usually come to mind. But gardening deserves a place on that list as well. In fact, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention classifies gardening as a moderate intensity exercise, which means it can help you maintain physical health while doing something you enjoy. Improve strength and flexibility. Gardening involves a wide range of movements, from bending and stretching to reach plants, to digging, raking, and carrying supplies. These varied activities engage different muscle groups and help maintain strength and flexibility, which become increasingly important as we age. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, a geriatric specialist I interviewed for this video, explains, the varied movements in gardening created a natural form of resistance training and stretching. When seniors garden regularly, I often see improvements in their grip strength, arm strength, and overall mobility. It's like a functional fitness routine disguised as a pleasant activity. Personally, I've noticed that since I started gardening more seriously in retirement, those everyday tasks like carrying groceries or climbing stairs have become easier. My balance has improved as well, which is crucial for preventing falls, one of the biggest health concerns for people over 60. Cardiovascular health. Did you know that just 30 minutes of moderate gardening activities like raking or weeding can burn anywhere from 150 to 300 calories? Regular gardening sessions can help maintain a healthy weight and support cardiovascular health. A fascinating study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine followed over 4,000 adults for 11 years and found that those who garden regularly had a 27% lower risk of heart attack or stroke. While correlation doesn't necessarily equal causation, there's something to be said for an activity that gets your heart rate up while connecting you with the natural world. Vitamin D exposure as we age. Our bodies become less efficient at synthesizing vitamin D, which is essential for bone health and immune function. Spending time outdoors in your garden provides valuable sun exposure, helping your body produce this crucial vitamin naturally. Just remember to practice sun safety, wear a wide-brimmed hat, apply sunscreen, and garden during the cooler parts of the day, especially in summer months. A balance of sun exposure and protection will give you the benefits while minimizing risks. Fine motor skills and brain-hand coordination. Activities like transplanting seedlings, pruning, and even picking herbs require precision and coordination. These fine motor movements help maintain the neural pathways between your brain and hands, keeping them sharp and responsive. Margaret, a 72-year-old subscriber who shared her story with me, took up gardening after being diagnosed with early arthritis in her hands. Her doctor actually recommended gardening as a gentle way to maintain mobility in her fingers. 3 years later, she reports that her symptoms have stabilized, and she's now growing award-winning dahlias in her community garden. The benefits of gardening extend far beyond the physical. Perhaps even more significant are the profound effects on mental and emotional well-being, especially after 60 when many people face new life challenges. Stress reduction and mood enhancement. There's something almost magical about putting your hands in soil. Research has shown that contact with soil can actually trigger the release of serotonin in our brains through exposure to harmless soil bacteria called Mycobacterium vacci. Serotonin is a natural antidepressant that enhances feelings of well-being and happiness. Beyond the biochemical explanation, the simple act of focusing on nurturing plants can create a meditative state that reduces cortisol levels, our body's primary stress hormone. In our fast-paced world filled with digital devices and constant news cycles, the garden offers a sanctuary where we can slow down and be present. Cognitive stimulation. Gardening involves planning, problem-solving, and learning, all activities that help keep our minds sharp as we age. Whether you're determining the optimal placement for sun-loving plants, troubleshooting pest issues, or learning about new varieties to try, your brain stays actively engaged. Dr. Richard Thompson, a neurologist specializing in aging, explains, activities that combine physical movement, sensory stimulation, and cognitive challenges create an ideal environment for brain health. Gardening ticks all these boxes, making it an excellent activity for maintaining cognitive function into older age. Studies support this view, with some research suggesting that gardening may reduce the risk of dementia by up to 36%. While we should be cautious about such specific figures, the evidence consistently points to gardening as a brain-healthy activity, purpose and achievement. After retirement, many people struggle with finding a new sense of purpose. The structured routine of tending a garden provides meaningful activity and concrete goals. There's something profoundly satisfying about nurturing a plant from seed to harvest, or watching a flower bed evolve through the seasons. James, an 83-year-old community garden organizer I interviewed, shared, "After I retired from teaching, I felt lost for a while. My garden gave me a reason to get up each morning. Now I grow vegetables for our local food bank, and that connection to my community has given my retirement years more meaning than I could have imagined." The tangible results of gardening, whether it's beautiful flowers, fresh vegetables, or a transformed landscape, provide regular doses of accomplishment and satisfaction that boost self-esteem and combat feelings of isolation or irrelevance that can sometimes accompany aging. Connection to nature and life cycles. As we age and confront our own mortality more directly, there can be comfort in connecting with the eternal cycles of nature. The garden reminds us that life is always renewing itself, that after every winter comes spring, and that beauty can be found in each stage of life's journey. This connection to something larger than ourselves, the rhythms of the natural world that have continued for millions of years, can provide perspective and peace during a life stage that often involves reflection and coming to terms with life's impermanence. One of the often overlooked aspects of gardening after 60 is its potential as a social activity that combats loneliness, a significant health risk for older adults. Community gardens and garden clubs. Community gardens provide opportunities to meet like-minded people of all ages while sharing knowledge, seeds, and stories. Local garden clubs offer educational lectures, garden tours, and volunteering opportunities that can expand your social circle while deepening your gardening expertise. Elizabeth, a 68-year-old widow who shared her experience with me, joined her local community garden after her husband passed away. "I was just looking for something to fill my days at first," she explained. "But I found a whole new community. We have potlucks using our garden produce, help each other with difficult tasks, and celebrate our successes together. It's become my second family." Intergenerational connections. Gardens create natural bridges between generations. Sharing your gardening knowledge with younger family members or neighborhood children can be rewarding for everyone involved. Many schools and youth organizations welcome senior gardening mentors, creating meaningful volunteer opportunities. My own relationship with my grandchildren has been enriched through our shared garden projects. Seeing their wonder at sprouting seeds or their pride in harvesting carrots they've grown themselves brings me joy, while they gain valuable knowledge about nature, food production, and patience. Online gardening communities. For those with mobility challenges or who live in isolated areas, online gardening forums and social media groups can provide valuable social connections. Sharing photos of your garden triumphs and disasters, exchanging advice and participating in virtual garden tours can create a sense of community regardless of physical limitations. The Facebook group Senior Gardeners United that I mentioned in my previous video has nearly 50,000 members worldwide sharing their gardening journeys. Many members report that these online connections have been lifelines during periods of illness or when weather keeps them indoors. One of the beautiful aspects of gardening is that it can evolve with you through different life stages. With some thoughtful adaptations, you can continue to enjoy gardening well into your 80s and beyond. Ergonomic tools and techniques. Gardening tool manufacturers have recognized the needs of aging gardeners, and there are now excellent ergonomic options available. Look for tools with padded, non-slip handles, extended reaches to reduce bending, lightweight materials that won't strain arthritic joints, brightly colored handles that are easier to find if dropped. Simple techniques can also reduce strain. For example, using a garden kneeler that can be flipped to become a seat. Wearing supportive gloves and taking regular breaks can make gardening sessions more comfortable. Raised beds and vertical gardening. Raised garden beds eliminate the need to bend all the way to ground level and can be built at the perfect height for you. Whether you're standing or seated in a wheelchair, the right height raised bed can make gardening accessible and comfortable. Vertical gardening, growing plants on trellises, walls, or in stacked containers, brings plants closer to eye level and reduces the need for bending and stretching. It's also an excellent solution for those with limited space. Robert, a 75-year-old gardener with back issues, shared how he transformed his garden. I couldn't give up my vegetables, but traditional rows became too difficult. Now I have a series of raised beds at 30 inches high, perfect for sitting on the edge while I work. I'm growing more food than ever, with less pain. Container gardening. Container gardening offers flexibility and accessibility. Pots, window boxes, and hanging baskets can be placed at convenient heights and moved to follow the sun or brought inside during extreme weather. They're perfect for growing herbs, salad greens, and many flowers. For those who have downsized to apartments or assisted living facilities, container gardens on balconies or patios maintain that crucial connection to growing things, even without a traditional garden space. Low-maintenance plant choices. As energy levels change, choosing lower maintenance plants can help keep gardening enjoyable rather than overwhelming. Consider perennials that return year after year without replanting. Native plants adapted to your local climate that need less water and care. Shrubs that require minimal pruning. Ground covers that suppress weeds naturally. Slow-growing varieties that won't need frequent division or cutting back. My personal shift toward native perennials has dramatically reduced my workload while increasing the biodiversity in my garden. The bonus: more birds, butterflies, and beneficial insects to observe and enjoy. Many health conditions common in older adults can actually be improved through adaptive gardening approaches. Arthritis and joint pain. For those with arthritis, gardening can help maintain joint flexibility, but it's important to work smarter, not harder. Use leverage-enhancing tools that multiply your strength. Schedule gardening sessions during times of day when joint pain is typically less severe. Apply heat to stiff joints before gardening and ice afterward if needed. Break gardening tasks into shorter, more frequent sessions. Focus on gentle movements and avoid gripping tools too tightly. Horticultural therapy programs at many hospitals now use gardening specifically to help arthritis patients maintain function while managing pain. The natural movements involved in gardening can be gentler than formal exercise, but still effective. Heart health and limited stamina. For those with heart conditions or limited stamina, create multiple seating areas throughout the garden for rest breaks. Use lightweight tools and materials. Plan energy mapping, completing more demanding tasks during peak energy times. Consider automated watering systems to reduce carrying heavy watering cans. Work in shaded areas during hot weather to prevent overexertion. Carol, a 70-year-old gardener who underwent heart surgery last year, described how she adapted. I installed several garden benches where I can rest when needed. I also switched to a lighter watering wand connected to a hose reel, which eliminated the heaviest carrying task in my garden routine. These simple changes have allowed me to keep gardening safely. Memory concerns. For those experiencing mild cognitive changes or early dementia, sensory-rich garden environments can provide stimulation and comfort. Fragrant plants like lavender, roses, and herbs stimulate the olfactory system and can trigger positive memories. Wind chimes and water features add auditory interest. Different textures of foliage provide tactile stimulation. Clear paths and familiar layouts help with orientation. Consistent routines in the garden can provide structure and reassurance. Memory gardens are increasingly being incorporated into dementia care facilities because of their calming and orienting effects on residents. Even for those with significant memory challenges, the sensory experience of gardens can improve mood and reduce agitation. Perhaps you've never gardened before but are intrigued by the benefits we've discussed. The wonderful news is that it's never too late to start, and beginning a garden in your 60s, 70s, or even 80s can bring tremendous joy. Starting small, the key for new gardeners of any age is to start small. Begin with a single raised bed or a few containers. Choose easy-to-grow plants that give quick satisfaction. Lettuce, sunflowers, zinnias. Consider starting with established plants rather than seeds for faster results. Focus on what interests you most, whether that's fresh vegetables, cutting flowers, or bird-attracting natives. Maria started her first garden at 72 after moving to a retirement community that offered small garden plots. I was intimidated at first, she admits, but I started with just 3 tomato plants and some marigolds. The joy of harvesting my own tomatoes was indescribable. 3 years later, I'm growing 20 different vegetables and teaching other residents how to start. Learning resources for senior gardeners. Numerous resources cater specifically to older beginners. Senior-focused gardening books with larger print and practical advice. Community education classes often offered at accessible times and locations. Online video tutorials that can be viewed at your own pace. Extension service hotlines for specific questions about your local growing conditions. Master gardener programs that connect experienced volunteer gardeners with. Beginners' libraries often host gardening lectures aimed at seniors, and many botanical gardens offer accessible education programs with senior discounts. The wealth of knowledge available means you don't have to learn through trial and error alone. Finding gardening mentors. One of the fastest ways to learn is to connect with experienced gardeners in your community. Visit local garden clubs where members are often eager to share knowledge. Participate in plant swaps where you can acquire plants and advice simultaneously. Volunteer at community gardens where you can learn alongside others. Join online gardening groups specific to your region for tailored advice. The gardening community tends to be generous with knowledge and encouragement. Most experienced gardeners remember their own beginnings and take pleasure in helping newcomers discover the joys of growing things. One of the challenges in retirement can be maintaining structure and purpose throughout the year. A well-planned garden provides activities and interest in every season, keeping you engaged with nature's cycles. Spring, the season of renewal. Spring gardening focuses on awakening the garden after winter dormancy. Planting and starting seeds indoors connects you to the promise of the growing season during late winter. Pruning and cleaning up winter debris provides gentle exercise after more sedentary winter months. Dividing perennials and installing new plants channels the season's natural energy. Observing returning birds and emerging insects brings daily moments of discovery. For many gardeners, spring's activities symbolize life's continuity and offer hope after winter's restrictions. The parallel to life seasons can be particularly meaningful in our later years. Summer, the season of abundance. Summer in the garden offers multiple pleasures. Harvesting fruits and vegetables provides nutritional benefits and satisfaction. Early morning and evening gardening sessions create peaceful bookends to hot days. Deadheading spent flowers becomes a meditative practice that encourages new blooms. Garden sitting areas become outdoor living spaces for reading, bird watching, or entertaining. Summer's abundance in the garden can mirror the richness of experience and wisdom in our later years, a time to enjoy the fruits of earlier efforts. Fall, the season of transition. Fall gardening activities help prepare for the coming dormant period. Planting spring blooming bulbs is an act of faith in future seasons. Collecting seeds connects this year's garden to next year's potential. Adding compost and mulch protects garden beds through winter. Planting trees and shrubs takes advantage of ideal establishment conditions. There's wisdom in fall's garden tasks that resonates with life's later chapters. Preparing thoughtfully for what lies ahead while honoring what is past. Winter, the season of rest and planning. Even in winter, the garden offers engagement. Indoor plants provide greenery and gardening opportunities during cold months. Garden planning and seed catalog browsing keeps your connection to the garden alive. Winter pruning of dormant trees and shrubs provides purpose on mild days. Bird feeding and wildlife observation offers daily connection to nature. Winter's garden rest isn't emptiness, but necessary rejuvenation. A reminder that fallow periods have their own importance in life cycles. Beyond general health benefits, gardens can be intentionally designed as healing spaces for specific emotional and spiritual needs that often arise after 60. Gardens for grief and loss. Many seniors face losses of partners, friends, physical abilities, or former homes. Gardens can become spaces for processing grief. Memorial gardens with plants that commemorate loved ones provide comfort. Transformation projects channel grief energy into creating beauty. The cyclical nature of gardens reinforces that life continues after loss. Private garden spaces offer safe settings for emotional expression. Thomas, who lost his wife of 47 years, created a white garden filled with her favorite flowers. Working in her garden helps me feel connected to her, he explained. Watching the plants she loved continue to grow gives me a sense that part of her is still here with me. Mindfulness gardens. For managing anxiety or navigating life transitions. Mindfulness-focused gardens encourage present moment awareness. Sensory-rich plantings engage all 5 senses. Simple maintenance tasks like weeding become moving meditations. Wind-responsive plants like ornamental grasses highlight the present moment. Water features provide focal points for contemplation. Research from healthcare settings confirms that even brief periods in sensory gardens can reduce stress, hormones, and blood pressure, biological markers of anxiety and tension. Gardens as legacy. As we age, thoughts often turn to what we'll leave behind. Gardens can become living legacies. Heritage plants passed down through generations carry family stories. Teaching garden skills to younger family members transmits knowledge. Community garden leadership creates lasting neighborhood assets. Ecological restoration projects leave the earth better for future generations. Helen, an 85-year-old master gardener, has spent her later years propagating historically significant local apple varieties that were disappearing from her region. These trees will outlive me by decades, she notes with satisfaction, knowing that future generations will taste these apples and perhaps wonder about who saved them. That gives me deep contentment. As we wrap up our exploration of why gardening is great after 60, I hope you're inspired to dig in, whether you're continuing a lifelong passion or starting your first garden. The evidence is clear that gardening offers unique benefits for this stage of life, combining physical activity, mental stimulation, emotional well-being, and social connection in one deeply satisfying pursuit. If you're already gardening someone, I'd love to hear in the comments how it has enriched your life after 60. If you're considering starting, share what aspect of gardening most appeals to you. In our next video, I'll be sharing specific garden designs for aging in place, including accessible layouts and plant selections that thrive with minimal maintenance. If you found this information helpful, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss future gardening content tailored for our generation. Remember that gardens, like people, don't need to be perfect to be beautiful and meaningful. The garden you create after 60 can reflect the wisdom, patience, and perspective you've gathered through life, making these garden years potentially your richest yet. Thank you for watching, and happy gardening.